Hi everyone, it's Anne here from Positively Papercraft, and I'm back today with a compilation video, a lamination compilation video. It was a mouthful. I just thought it would be good to have them all in one place. Also, probably there's a lot of them that people haven't seen or maybe forgot, so we're going to go through it all today. So we'll get on with the first one. So the first one is laminating one side of a piece of patterned paper or cardstock or whatever it may be. So I've got two pieces of patterned paper here, and just pick the side that you would use, that you're going to have laminated. So it's going to be these for me. So what I'm going to do, take a laminating pouch. I've got a matte laminating pouch here, which is these ones. As you can see, it's matte. Open the pouch up. So I want this side laminated, so I'm going to put it face down. Then I'm going to put two pieces of copier paper over there. Then I want this side laminated, so I'm going to put that face side up. Close that up. Just make sure they're all pushed to the top there. So I've got the laminator here, it's ready, and I'm just gonna run this through. So that's done. So what I'm going to do is just cut the pouch open, and then you will find that it will have only laminated one side of each piece of the paper. And the good thing is, when you use these matte laminating pouches, you really sort of struggle to tell whether this has been laminated or not. And it's solid lamination, so that side's not laminated, that side is. Same with the other piece. That side's laminated, that side's not. So I love this, and as I said, the matte pouches make it, well, there's not really, you can't really tell it's laminated at all, but you could use glossy depending on what look you wanted. So move on to another one. Okay, this next one is what I call a faux glossy accents look. Now, what we did before with this, I've done exactly the same. This is an A5 laminated glossy pouch. I took two pieces of this sort of ombre paper, the exact same way, the front facing up, two pieces of copy paper in between, and another one on the back. Exactly the same. Just cut this open, and we've got the same as before. Okay, this is laminated, just each side. Just cut this, separate this, and then what you can then do is take any sort of alphabet dies, sentiment dies, anything you want, and the will cut, because we've only laminated one side. This is paper, this is lamination. So I want to get my die cutting machine, I'm going to cut out a few, and I'll show you when I've done it. So you can see I've used an alphabet set, which I do sell these, but I've just cut some random letters out, and you can see it gives a very similar effect to glossy accents. And even like smaller little sentiment dies, exactly the same, and I'm going to show you how well they're cut out. So I've just got a one here that says celebrate. Just pop this on. You can see that there, they just cut beautifully. All the little bits just come out. Now I'm going to show you another little tip with this. Let me get this out of the way, because sometimes if you run them through your die cutting machine, sometimes you may find that it depends, not all the time, the lamination might peel off some of them in the corners. It's not with this, but if it does, I have just bought this Swordfish Armoured A4 lamination pouch carrier. I'll put the link for this. And it's basically just a pouch. It's got the hard sealed bit there to stop any pouches jamming or anything like that if you weren't like putting much in them. So all you would need to do is, if they do start to peel, just put them in here, or whatever sort of carrier sheet you use, and then just run them back through your laminator and it will seal them. Okay, so if you do find that any peel away, it just depends. As I say, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. These aren't, but sometimes I have had somewhere that have peeled off. Just run them back through, just in some sort of carrier sheet like that. Brilliant way to sort of make your own sort of faux glossy accent little sentiments. So we'll move on to another. Another thing you can do is make your own sort of snowy acetate, which it's really easy. So I've got a little A5 pouch here, and once I get it open, I'm going to take that laminator carrier sheet and I'm going to put the pouch in it. Okay, and then I've got some Cosmic Shimmer ultra thick embossing crystals in ice white, and I'm literally just going to sprinkle them into the open laminating pouch. Okay, just like so. And I'm going to close the pouch up, and it's just a case of running this through the laminator. Okay, I've run that through and we'll have a look, and there you go. You've got your own snowy acetate, which I think works really, really well, because it can be quite expensive to buy this. So if you get yourself some ultra thick embossing crystals, you don't need to make your own, and this will come off because it's a non-stick sheet, so don't worry about getting any in there, it just comes off. So we'll move on to another. Alright, another thing you can do is, so for example, I've got this card here, just it's sort of card, it's sort of a paper. Now if you take, again, I'm going to get another, just a little A5 pouch again, and I'm going to put it in my carrier sheet again. So open the pouch, put it in the carrier sheet. Okay, and I'm going to put the little piece of card in, card or paper, whatever you want to use. Now I've got some Gildan flakes here, and all I'm going to do is just sort of randomly just put them onto the piece of paper. Now it could be patterned paper, it could be anything that you want to use, but basically you can sort of make your own type of gilded paper. Now it's good if you want to die cut it, like die cut some little shapes, like sentiments and things, but for that again you would just have to use one laminated, as if you were doing a one-sided, because obviously this way wouldn't die cut if I'm just laminating it the normal way. So you would just close it all up, and the heat will set the Gildan flakes. So I will run that through and I'll be back. Okay, I've took that out, and as you can see, it's sort of, you know, the heat makes the foil sort of embed into the paper, so you could make your own sort of foiled paper card, whatever you want to do. So that's another cool idea. So we'll move on to another one. Right, so this one, I did this one years ago. So what I've got is an A4 laminating pouch. Okay, just a regular A4 pouch. Now I've got a smaller A5 pouch here, and what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to cut the top off so it becomes two separate pieces. So I'm just going to take the pouch, I'm going to cut the top piece off so it will now be two separate pieces. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate these two pieces. So can you see I've separated them, and then I'm going to turn them back to back so the shiny sides are together like that. I'm going to take this A4 pouch and I'm going to open it up, and I'm just going to put it inside, these two pieces inside. Now you need to keep them together, and this can be the tricky bit, but just take your time. So keep them exactly together. tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to move them down a little bit because I've got just a couple of pieces of scrap card and I'm going to put it at the very top of the pouch, and this will stop it from jamming, because I don't want to put it in the carrier sheet because I want to be able to see what I'm doing. Now I can see that they've moved, so they have to be right on top of each other. Okay, you see that there? And then I'm going to get in the laminator and I am basically just going to run this through. Alright, so you can see the smaller pouch inside. Now what we're going to do, take a trimmer again and we are going to cut all around. You can leave the top bit, but the sides and the bottom. Now we don't want to cut into that. We want to cut just beside it, okay? So leave. I'll show you close up. Oh, I've just cut it, but I'll just show you. It's okay because this can be the top. So the sides. I've left probably 1/8 of an inch around 3 sides, but the top, because I cut it, it's now a pocket which you can use to store whatever you want in there. I could probably cut a little bit more off here if I'm honest, but you don't want to cut over into the next pocket because you will just ruin it. So there, I've cut a little bit more off and we've got our open pocket. And then you can also take a punch and you can make like a finger hole in the top. See that? So you've now got a little pocket or a little plastic envelope. You could store your dies in there, whatever you want to store in there. So that is a brilliant way to make your own sort of see-through pockets. So we'll move on to another one. Okay, another thing we can do, I've covered this a couple of times, is make our own wipeable stencils. So I've got just 2 pieces of cardstock. I've got a A5 laminator pouch and it's the same as what we've been doing. So open this. So a piece of card, just a folded over piece of copier paper, and then another piece of card. Just laminate this and just the same as before, you can just cut open the pouch, because all we want is the 2 pieces of card. So I'm just going to cut the lamination, the excess lamination off, which means we could do 2 stencils because we've got 2 pieces of card. So you can choose any die that you might have. I've gone for, this is my die, which is Lots of Love. So you can cut this bit in the cardstock, so the laminated side, and I'm just going to die cut this out. Now it will die cut because we've only done one side. And then you will just pop all of your little hearts out. But then you can also, you know, with a wipe or a damp cloth, you can wipe it down because it's laminated. So you can make your own stencil that you can, you know, keep clean. So, love that one. Let's move on to another. Okay, now we can also laminate napkins, paper napkins. So I've got two halves of a napkin. I haven't took any of the back ends off. You can do that later. So I've got a laminating pouch here, just another A5 again. So I'm going to put this napkin pattern side down. Okay. Then I'm going to put just a piece of copier paper again, and then this one pattern side up. And then just close the pouch up. Okay, and we are gonna run this through the laminator. So like what we've been doing, you can just cut the pouch open. Okay. And then, excuse me, the back ends, I'm sure, yeah, did they come off anyway? Yeah. I don't know if the very last one comes off, but it doesn't matter. If you want to keep that on, it's fine. Or you could remove them before you run them through, but I don't mind having one layer on them. And then basically you can do whatever you want. So you've got a nice little sort of protected laminated napkin with no creases in as well, might I add. So I think this is really cool. And that's just bringing off the layer. There we go. Like I say, you could use them as a sort of, if you have a window in your card, you could put it inside. You could make sort of little bags with them. Whatever you want to do, it's entirely up to you. So we'll move on to another. Alright, so another one, as well as doing napkins, you can do the same with tissue paper or wrapping paper, anything like that. So again, I've got another A5 pouch. This time I'm just going to put card on the other side. You could just put another piece of tissue on. Then I'm going to put another piece of this copier paper, and then I'm going to put the tissue in. Okay, and then I'm going to run this through the laminator as well. So you can see there, you've now got a laminated piece of tissue. Which kind of looks like a sort of vellum as well. So, or maybe it's even an acetate. You could actually get away with a sort of an acetate with that for sure. Or if you used a matte laminating pouch, I think it would look like vellum for sure. But this way you could use this as acetate actually, because the tissue is so thinner and more transparent. You know, you could definitely use that as an acetate or a vellum. So we'll move on to another one. Okay, this is one of my favourites. I'm going to show you that a really easy way to make a shaker card. So you will need to use one of these non-stick pouches for this. So what I've done is, let's just say that this is going to be the front of my card, but I want to make it a shaker card. So just a regular piece of card, I've cut the same Lots of Love die out of it. So this will be my card front. I've got a matte laminating pouch here, and all I've done from the pouch, so there's the pouch, I've just cut a piece of the front of the pouch away from there, and it's just enough to cover the front of the card. Okay, so just put it on the same way as the pouch is. You know, I think you get what I mean. Like, just put that on the front of the card, just one piece of the pouch, so you will still have all that left. So put it on the front, just open your sheet and then just put this in like this. You can see that there, and then run it through. Alright, so we're going to open it up, and because this pouch is non-stick, this will just come straight away from the sheet. And because it's a matte pouch, we're left with, you know, it's very hard to tell there's anything underneath it. And then all you're going to do is just trim off the excess laminator sheet. Now, underneath, no, it's not really sticky, maybe a tad tacky, but I do find it wears off as well. And then all you've really got to do is put some, you know, foam tape, drop your little sequins in and attach it to your card base, and there you don't have to mess around with acetate or anything like that. So I think that is a great way to make a shaker. So give that a try. We'll move on to another. Alright, this is the last one. Now, you can actually laminate fabric as well. So I've just cut a little piece of fabric here, and I've got another piece of the front of a matte laminating pouch, and I've got my non-stick laminating carrier sheet. So it's the same as what we did with the shaker style card. So I'm going to put the fabric in, and I'm going to put the little piece of laminating sheet over the top. Okay, and then I'm going to close the pouch, and I'm just going to run this through the laminator. Now when we open it, it's the same as before. We just peel this away, and then it is laminated one side of the fabric. So you would just come along and cut the excess lamination off. Now maybe you want to cover a notebook or something with fabric, but you want the fabric protecting, you know, whatever you want it for, but you can laminate fabric. And I think that looks so nice, and it's all laminated there. And that was with a matte laminating pouch. So I hope you've enjoyed all of these different ways you can use your laminator. I definitely hope it's inspired you to try them, or to, you know, have a go at stuff yourself, see what else maybe you can come up with. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it. So thanks for watching, take care, and bye for now.